reality, it will come at us from all sides. Nowhere is safe, folks.
Today is going to be a nice day at home. You will just relax and enjoy yourself in the safety of your now familiar apartment. From its perch on your windowsill, the radio brings you all of the relevant news you need to know.
Today's breaking news comes to you from City Hall, where Mayor Yu is rapidly shoving all the money she can find into burlap sacks. Mayor, would you like to give us a comment on what you're doing?
What the fuck does it look like? I'm stealing from the city! That's right, I'm taking any goddamn money I can find in this place and embezzling it! But you don't think I'm such a great mayor now, do you? Do you?
What a daring and forward plan from our mayor! Clearly, our brave mayor has decided that our tax dollars aren't being allocated well enough, and is taking matters into her own hands. This kind of honesty and straightforward policy has been missing in politics. Who knows what our mayor's plan will be? I, for one, can't wait to find out.
The smell of your favorite food makes your stomach growl. As you continue to prepare your meal, you can see that everywhere is on fire. The streetlights have all burst and some have even collapsed. The cars in the street are smoking or covered in flames. Anyone foolish enough to be caught outside is now long dead. Outside your apartment is a hellscape. Staying in is just fine. Just before you begin eating, you water your plant. Although the interior of your apartment is now familiar to you at this point, you don't remember if this potted plant is real or plastic. Regardless of uncertainty, you water the plant regularly. It remains vibrant and healthy. On your dining table, the radio continues to inform you of the news.
What am I doing with all the money? What am I doing with it? I'm buying myself a yacht! That's what I'm doing with it! It won't help the city at all! What do you think about that?
What an excellent idea from our mayor! If you work hard and don't slack off, you too can steal money from the government and buy your own luxury goods. Mayor Yu is on her way home now, shouting threats at pedestrians and punching anyone who gets too close. A true role model for all the youth of Concord Valley.
You head to your room to enjoy reading a novel. You open the curtains to enjoy reading by firelight, but you notice something. Rather than burning, everywhere outside seems to be flooded. You can see a few items floating out onto the street. There is no need to panic. The water level isn't near your floor. Staying in is fine. You look at your closet. There's nothing wrong with your closet. It's a normal closet, made of wood. Not particularly expensive, or particularly cheap, as far as you can remember. It doesn't stand out against the landscape of the rest of your room. There is nothing particularly interesting about it. There is nothing wrong with your closet.
Unfortunately, the mayor is not the only notable criminal out and about today. There is a suspicious character running about the streets of Concord Valley. Their identity is not yet known, but what is known is that we don't take kindly to that kind of person. We're relying on every resident of Concord Valley to keep a lookout for the criminal and to stay safe. And now for our financial report. Due to the mayor's theft, everyone's taxes will be doubled. But really, that is such a small price to pay to keep our amazing mayor. Isn't it true that we can't truly appreciate good times without bad times to compare them to? Once we've finally paid off the mayor's yacht, we'll enjoy how much simpler our life will seem in comparison. The unknowable powers that kept our mayor in charge of our beautiful city are, as always, beyond knowledge and beyond judgment.
Your day has been rather uneventful. Ian is home. You can hear, through the walls of your apartment, the sound of Ian doing homework, or perhaps, maybe even scrapbooking. You don't know what he's doing. You can only hear his distinctive sounds. You decide to close your curtains before you begin your nightly routine. You notice that something is different. The flood is gone. Outside, instead, you can only see a forest of trees. It almost looks as if you are high above the earth, but you haven't moved at all. You close the curtains. As you get comfortable in bed, you give your closet one last glance. It is the same closet you remember. There is no need to spend any time thinking about your closet. It's time to go to sleep.
Not What She Seems was written by Savannah Hernandez and Natalie Kim, and produced by Geometric Mistakes. The narrator is voiced by Natalie Kim. The radio host and little sister is voiced by Savannah Hernandez. And Mayor Yu is voiced by Claire. If you like what we do, please support us on Patreon.